I'm flawed. I carry many wounds. I'm imperfect. Do I still love myself? Do you? Life, for all of us, is a mosaic of brutality and beauty that weave like a yin and yang in perfect harmony. We often find ourselves right in the middle of this extreme tug of war. Time never seems to be slowing down, and more responsibilities and commitments add on as years goes by. Life can be challenging. I often find myself overthinking, stressed, and anxious even before an event takes place. While I remind myself of the reality and the present moment that I'm in, I can't help but look forward to the future, for the next big positive thing to strike my path. Personally, I've always wanted more out of life. I have this hunger to experience life not only in a place, but in many different destinations, in many different characters, to experience like a local and find out what ifs. I want to keep growing and evolving as a person. By doing that, I can sometimes become frustrated with myself and the circumstance I'm in, when I struggle to find the best optimal way to express the true me. And this leads to perfection. Why is there such an obsession to be perfect? Why can't imperfection be a beauty that we all desperately want to embrace and never let it go? Everyone feels imperfect, yet everyone is exploring all means to cover their imperfections. Why do we do that to ourselves? Why is being perfect the ultimate goal we strive to work towards? Why can't we take a breather, slow down, and caress our imperfection? As such, the idea of finding beauty in the imperfect seems quite profound to me, so I decided to crack my head on it, pour my thoughts into those papers, reflect and meditate on this pondering notion that there is beauty in our flaws, in our failures, in our pain, in our suffering, and in our transition from where we are to where we want to be, from who we are to who we strive to be. So I asked myself these questions. How do we embrace imperfection? What are the practical steps to get there? By understanding imperfection, we need to first understand what's perfection. Why the pursuit of perfection? The pursuit of perfection is a Western construct. Perfectionism in ethics and value theory is defined as the persistence of obtaining an optimal quality of spiritual, mental, physical, and material being. Having that definition laid before me and looking at being imperfect scared the shit out of me. My professional training gives no room for failure, for flawed, or simply for imperfection. After years of working in that field, it has taken its toll and seeped into my personal life. To be perfect, it means over-delivering my KPIs. To be perfect, it means failure is a non-negotiable. To be perfect, it means after slaughtering your soul into many different pieces, you still have to put on that brightest smile on your face in front of the others. In short, to achieve the most optimal result in all aspects of your life, you just need to be God. But hey, we are only human. We are not perfect. We are only put in this world to experience and to learn. If we are perfect, then there'll be no room for improvement. Then where's the fun? What is Wabi-Sabi concept? Luckily, there are other practices that we can look upon. In the Far East, in Japan, there's this wisdom of aesthetic beauty called Wabi-Sabi. It describes a worldview centered on the acceptance of transience and imperfection. Nothing lasts, nothing is finished, and nothing is perfect. And that's exactly the breather we need. That's the alternative to the perfect world we are living in. And that's the beauty of imperfection. But you might ask, how? How do I come to terms with imperfection? Or rather, how do I embrace my own imperfection? It took me some time to truly embrace my own imperfections. At times, it is a struggle, but balance is all we need. Here are 5 ways that I process through which are helpful to me when I was dealing with my own imperfection. Perhaps it might be something useful for you too. Why don't we have a look? Number 5. Choices. I remember growing up in Singapore, one of my favorite teacher, Mr. Ang, he taught us mathematics. So there was one lesson, it was about binomial theorem. So the whole whiteboard was covered with different notes, and at every different note, there's always a choice to be made. How do you move forward? What are the possibilities lie before you? So at every precise note or every precise junction, you make that conscious decision and you move forward, and simultaneously, those doors close behind of you. And that is a very good analogy in life, that you make that conscious decision. How do you move forward? And also at that precise point in time, at that note, if you do not make any decision, that will be the best decision that you have at the moment in time. But the question is, does it really help you to move forward? Number 4, acceptance. Accepting where we are in life and being fully aware of the reality that is caused by the choices we make is important and it's realistic. Acceptance brings us closer to empowerment. Number 3, system and process. James Clear, an author, mentioned in his books Atomic Habits, goals are good for setting a direction, but systems are best for making progress. I personally find this very useful. I will break down the necessary steps in order to reach my goal. Number 2, being kind to yourself. At times, I can feel the task seems overwhelming and I can literally feel that I'm drowning in the process. Though I'm struggling hard, but I don't want to give up. It is a good attitude. But if we are not careful, we burn ourselves in the process, and that's not what we want. We are focusing on the long-term gain. So you might ask, what do I do then? I ask you to be kind to yourself. Be kind to who you are and where you are. We recognize where the challenges are. We accept our shortfalls. We can then choose to pivot or to have an alternative route to get this task done. Don't beat yourself up. We are only human. Seek alternative and embrace your imperfection. Number 1, mind shift. You are what you eat. The same analogies apply. You are what you think based on what you feed into your brain. A healthy mindset has a high stake here. Our ability to read our mind is the most critical component to the way we see the world and how we look at ourselves. Winning and losing is just a fine line apart. It is important to realize that we are all on our journey. Finding beauty in the imperfections comes from our ability to manage our thoughts. So it is important to ask yourself this question every morning when you wake up, standing in front of the mirror and brushing. Have you brush your brain today too? How do we perceive imperfection really? Is it really that bad? Back in 2018, Sotheby put out an auction to sell one of Banksky's masterpiece, The Girl with the Red Balloon, and it was sold at 1.4 million USD. The hammer was smashed down to seal the transaction. At that precise moment, the artwork was shredded automatically. Horror in the whole auction hall. A masterpiece is no longer perfect. It is trash. Or is it? Is our society really that cruel in the face of imperfection? Later on, that masterpiece by Banksy was renamed as Love is in the Bin, and it went on a world tour. Ironically, it was resold at a record of 25.4 million USD. That's 25 times more than the previous value. So you tell me, what does it say about beauty in the eyes of the imperfection? I want to draw your attention to this beautifully crafted pottery. Its perfect ring goes around its circumference. The dove white shape that's painted in harmony stretches every corner of this pottery. Minimalistic, simple, and full of its zen richness. Such a simple and ordinary bowl can be that aesthetically pleasing to the eyes. This is perfection at its best. Won't you agree? Oh! Shit. Well, it just dropped to the ground, it smashed into pieces. The beautifully crafted ball is no longer a beauty. It's just a pool of broken bits and pieces. Won't you agree? Kintsugi is a Japanese form of art that's used in centuries to repair what's broken, especially on a pottery, porcelain. When a ball, a perfect porcelain ball that's broken to pieces, the Japanese will not take it away or will not throw it away. What they do is that they pick up every single pieces that are broken, assemble them together, and use the gold to glue them up together, because they embrace every single one of them that's broken, because that's part of you, that's part of us. And once you repair that with the gold, it's a rebirth, it's a new object, it's a new art, it's a new you. And that's an analogy we should always look forward to. It is okay not to be perfect. It is okay to be flawed. It is okay to not perform 100%. It is okay to just be you, yourself. Through those broken pieces, that's exactly where you are today. You are at the right place. That's who you are. Embrace that. Kintsugi. There is beauty in our mess, in our pain, in our suffering, and in our transition from where we are to where we want to be. And more importantly, who we are and who we strive to be. In the face of imperfection, what do you choose?